Hello, Lantier. Or Lantier, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name. But hello, and thank you so much for allowing me to do this with you. I figured it would be better if I recorded this and just sent it to you. That way it's a little bit easier for me, and yeah. So, let's get started. Question number 1. We live in a digital age and news spreads fast. Your email has gained online infamy, and with that has come both positive and negative feedback. How are you handling the exposure thus far? So far, so good, to be honest. I've had tons of positive support, plenty of people adding me on my social media, thanking me for writing this email, thanking me for giving them a voice, telling me also how they wish to leave soon, and, basically even sort of trusting me and telling me their stories. I've also had plenty of negative comments, mainly on that site, Going Concern, which, I expected it. And I think this comes from a slightly older crowd, because most of the people that were basically giving me some really kind words and just being really positive towards me were quite younger, around my age. So I think I've been handling it pretty well. I was definitely very shocked by how many racist people there still are. I've gotten called the N-word so many times. I've gotten just some very crazy things in the past couple of days. I was reading the comments on Going Concern, and I was just seeing, that just about, 85% of those comments are racist. I think what concerns me most is basically people's perceptions of ethnic new hires. I was seeing a lot of comments about me being a diversity hire, quote unquote, because I'm African American. I just think that's absolutely absurd. I am African American, that is true. However crazy my email may have been, I've read plenty of crazy emails from, I'm sure, what have been some Caucasian employees, but I don't see people saying, let's make sure to out this person so that we don't make Caucasian hires again. As was said with me when they said, let's make sure to out this person so that we're cautious not to make diversity hires again. Things like that, calling me a diversity hire because I'm black, I feel like that's just racist. And also saying things like, let's make sure to be cautious about hiring diversity hires. I just think that's honestly ridiculous, because I've read and seen some crazy things, like I said, from Caucasian people, yet you would never hear that come out of someone's mouth. So I just think what has shocked me the most has been the outpouring of racist comments from a lot of these people that you work with on a day-to-day that you would never know are really racist. And these are the people that are being called professionals. These are the people that you sit next to at work and, wouldn't think any differently of. But their views are so racist. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. And I think those people, honestly, seriously need therapy, because it's just never that serious. Number 2, can you give us a little background about yourself prior to beginning employment with full-time with PwC? Yeah, so I'm from Texas. I'm not going to disclose from where, because a lot of people are nosy, and just for privacy reasons, I'm not going to be telling my business. But I do have an education in accounting. I did hold a leadership role, during college, an accounting leadership role. And, as the email stated, I did have 2 internships. So a lot of my background throughout college has been accounting related. And regardless of what school I went to, regardless of where I'm from or what city I work in, I was no different than any other accounting student or accounting intern at the Big Four. I was just no different. I, like a lot of people, was confused on what I wanted to study in college, and I honestly couldn't pinpoint it. So this has a lot to do with my decision process thus far, and basically my story, which I know a lot of people go through the same thing. So, that's a little bit about me. How did you decide to study accounting in college? Like I said, it wasn't really, I kind of just fell into it. It was something that, honestly, I was good at because I worked hard at. It didn't come naturally to me. But it's something that I just fell into. And, I already had spent about, a whole semester doing another major that, my parents wanted me to do. And after a lot of thinking, I knew for sure it wasn't for me, and I knew I wanted to do something in business. But I was like, marketing, will I get a job? All this other stuff, will I get a job? Accounting was just a practical thing to do, and I knew I would have a job after college. It wasn't something that I loved at all. It wasn't something that I lived and breathed, that I woke up and said, OMG, I want to go audit today. It was nothing like that. But I stuck with it, and, it is what it is. Number 4, you mentioned you interned for 2 different public accounting firms. So what were the similarities and differences in your experience? Both accounting firms were more similar than they were different. Like everyone tends to say, it is the people that make the firm different. In terms of everything besides the people, it was all the same, to be completely honest, as far as my experience. I would say that I favored PwC more because of the people. I did feel like the people were more genuine. I felt like it was a little bit more laid back. The culture was a little bit more laid back. And I felt like the environment was a little bit more open. So that's why I went with PwC versus Deloitte. But I would say that also I did realize that PwC was more diverse, and I really liked that because, I grew up being around, sort of a diverse environment, and PwC just had a lot more people from everywhere, people with, all kinds of different backgrounds, and I really was attracted to that. Number 5, you also mentioned you hated both internships. Why begin a career in public accounting? What did you hope would be different? Good question. I don't really know how to explain my thought process. However, I had a job. I actually had 2 job offers on the line, one of which I declined from Deloitte, and the other one from PwC I wanted to keep open. I wanted to leave my options open. You know, I knew deep down that I didn't want to be an accountant. I knew deep down that I didn't want to work in public accounting for sure, and that accounting wasn't for me. It wasn't what I would consider like my dream career. However, I knew that in the accounting world and in the business world, it was basically a big deal. And also, you know, at the time, it wasn't really just my opinion, my decision. My parents were a big influence on this as well. And, you know, I am African. My dad is Nigerian. My mom is from Kenya. And, you know, Nigerians are very, very, very involved in your education and in your career. And so my dad had a lot of say in this. And, you know, he really, you know, wanted me to be a CPA. He really wanted me to basically get the best experience I could at whichever firm and just sort of pursue something in professional services. Or, you know, go the law school route, go the medical school route, become a nurse. You know, things like that are things that Nigerians really promote. So I just stuck with it. A part of me was just like, you know, I have a job offer on the line. And another part was just, you know, making my dad happy. However, I've quickly learned throughout all of my experiences that at the end of the day, it's me. I have to live with my choices. And so now it's more of I'm living for myself right now, and I'm doing things that I love to do, and accounting isn't one of them. Number 6, I think we all can relate to being fed up at one time or another in our career. While most people choose to vent their frustrations to their friends, you penned an email to your former team. As I read the email, I laughed, sympathized, and cringed. What was going through your mind when you hit the send button? Any regrets? Honestly, contrary to public opinion, I didn't have any emotional attachment to this email. I wasn't mad or sad, or I wasn't in the moment writing this email. I had been planning to quit since I started. I didn't even want to start at the firm. That is how bad it was. That is how much I hated it. This was something that I knew for the first half of the email, at least. I knew that I wanted to leave. There was no, oh, he made me mad today. Oh, I hate my team. I want to quit right now. I didn't quit because of a team. I quit because I genuinely didn't like the job. I genuinely didn't enjoy what I did. I genuinely didn't like waking up every morning to go to that establishment and work with their clients and do things that they did and be around people that they, you know, associate themselves with. Like, I genuinely wanted out. And when I pressed the send button, honestly, I felt a sense of liberation. I felt like I was being freed. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, should I not send this? I didn't feel any sort of, you know, like I said, emotion. I was just living my truth at that moment. I pressed send and I felt so free. Do I have any regrets? No, I don't have any regrets.